action. This is sportsbookreview.com. And again, we are here with the closing line. 1 hour action-packed props, plays, information designed to get you ready for kickoff in 1 hour. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Kyle Purviance. We are going to carry you right through to the Super Bowl. Welcome into the party, Kyle. Let's get busy today.
Oh, I have been tailgating since, what was our first message? 6:15 a.m. my time, I believe, was our first message.
Yep.
So there's one thing I never run out of when I'm tailgating with mimosas on Sunday morning, and that's orange juice. So let's just put it that way. We're ready for a great morning. Good start to the season Thursday night. It's our first Sunday of the year. I'm very excited, and I think it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, and I'm going to be extremely distracted here. Got 19 monitors. I got TV showing up. The latest information coming in. We'll try to transfer it through. But also, guys in the chat box, thank you for tuning in all throughout the show. You see anything out there, any likes, you have any questions, just let it rip. And also, we're going to be here, as I said, for the entire NFL season. If you need more information, if you missed a show, you want some good write-ups, some good video breakdowns, check out sbrpicks.com/NFL for all your information. If you didn't get in to the Pick 6 contest, you still have time, 1 hour to get in. Go to SBRodds.com. sportsbookreview.com. Click the link below right here. That'll take you right to the contest. But it's free. It's free. Like, I mean, if I wake up one day like, hey, I had a good week, and next thing you know, I got, a couple $100 extra in my account, or get a DM. I'm like, yo, I didn't pay for this and I won. Beautiful stuff, Kyle.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. And shout out to some of the guys in the chat waiting. Vitalis, I'm going to give you a shout out because I see you active on every show we have at SBR, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I met him in person. Good guy, man.
I love that. And, just good morning to everyone. I love already, fly Eagles fly. I'm big on the Eagles today, and I love the line movement. So lots of good stuff. We're going to have a great time. And like you said, SBR is a great place to shop these lines. I'm looking at so many different colors. Lines are moving right now as we speak. So it's a great place to go. Be part of the Pick 6. Check out all of our content. So many great people. We'll see Flash on Monday. I mean, you're not getting any better EPL coverage than Flash, Premier League veteran himself. So lots of good shit. Let's get over there.
Let's go, man. Eric, Mile High, Vitalis, One for the Money, Remus, Scott, Sean, Southside, Las Vegan, everybody here in the chat box, Cody, Jimmy, the kid is back. We are here rocking and rolling, ready to go. Hey, we got 1 hour. We're going to kick off just like everybody else. What we're going to do, typical fashion, we're going to go right down in order of rotation. So let's get after it early. 453, 454. The Miami Dolphins going to invade the Cam Newton Patriots here, Kyle. If we take a look at the markets right now, 50-50 ticket split here. Opened up, a lot of these lines opened up a couple weeks ago. So once we start getting the week 2, we'll get those fresh lines and you get a more advantageous look. But open up around 7. Still sitting at 7s across the board. A total that opened up at 43. Now sitting at 41.5. Devontae Parker's going to miss this game, one of the big weapons for the Miami Dolphins. But all off season, we're looking to see, is Cam going to start? Is he not going to start? Obviously, Cam Newton is going to start today, but I see a lot of feelings out there saying, you know what? I'm not trusting New England yet without Tom Brady. It's New England without a huge home field advantage now. I'm going to take the 7 points, and I can't disagree with that because if it's a touchdown here, I want to wait and see on Cam. But you know what? I think the Dolphins are going to fight hard today. I'll take the touchdown in this spot. Which way are you looking here? What any odds or evens here?
Yeah, I have a couple of plus money line parlays, if you will. I think the Dolphins could sneak in and win this game. I actually like taking the points with Miami. Bottom line is Miami's secondary was dreadful last year. Now they have 2 of the best shutdown corners in the league on the outside. So Cam Newton's going to have to throw timing routes over the middle. He's going to have to be a part of that running game. Sony Michel and Rex Burkhead and James White and Damian Harris, all these running back by committees are going to have to show up. Now, the real wild card in this game is, of course, that Patriots defense is dominant. The reigning defensive player of the year, Stephon Gilmore, just got a huge contract. So you don't want Ryan Fitzpatrick to crumble and throw 7 interceptions. But I like the Dolphins, and I don't mind taking the plus money on the money line for the upset. It's week 1. We just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, how about last year, Kyle? If you took the money line, you saw late in the season where the New England Patriots looking to stack on and maybe get a number 1 seed, get upset by the Miami Dolphins last year with Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's going to take the field again today. There's a lot of moving parts, parts when we're taking a look at New England. And, the wide receiver set up, the running backs a little bit banged up. You had a lot of guys opt out in the offseason and a new guy with Cam Newton. But there's still Bill Belichick there, and that's going to be tough to overcome. But looking at the game early and just saying, you know what fits the profile, hey, even Pinnacle minus 7.5. So maybe you pay a little bit extra juice and get the 7.5. So you got to get beat by, basically double digits in this game. Over under a 41.5. And you know what? even with last year when you saw, Kyle, a really good defense for New England, not a lot of explosive players for the New England Patriots, and I don't think that's changed all that much this year. I know Fitzpatrick is great for overs because he's that guy that says double coverage, no problem. I'm going to get an interception, a touchdown, or a pass interference flag on this play. It's hard to take unders with Fitzpatrick, but I look at this game, and I agree with the line movement lower. I do.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and especially the Devontae Parker thing you talked about. It's an explosive player. He was ruled out. Is that correct? That Devontae Parker was ruled out?
He is out for this
He's
game.
out.
Yes.
That's a huge loss in this game. And if I'd have known that before I made my bet last night, because it was still kind of iffy, I probably wouldn't have taken the Dolphins to win. That's a huge loss. So, you need guys like Jakeem Grant and, Jordan Howard, Matt Breida, and Mike Gesicki to get it done for Miami. Preston Williams, I know, is iffy coming in. But, I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm not a big believer in Cam Newton's passing acumen. So it's going to have to be the running game all day over the Dolphins. And so I think I'll probably take the under on those. This could be like a 17-13 Dolphins win, which would make me happier than what.
Yeah, I had 2 tweets come out that said Devontae Parker was out, but people in the chat box saying they don't think so in that, and there's no person listed on one of the 6 inactives. So I'm going to retrace that, and it's a good thing that we got a live show here because I'm going to look at some Devontae Parker information right now. It just goes to show you that when it's not when the unofficial accounts and some people are trying to beat the line. Let's see, we got here.
I'll tell you
last night it was Schefter said he was playing last night.
Yeah,
let me see.
What I thought
I'm only getting some older stuff that's showing Devontae here. Let me just see if we can get an update. Devontae.
Sure. And I'll just go over. I'll start next on Indianapolis Jacksonville's the next game.
Yeah.
We got the Colts. The line is moving in favor of Jacksonville. It's now, instead of, we were seeing some -8s the other day, it's now to a -7, -7.5. So I like that. And that's where you're getting some adjusted line value there. I like the Colts. I think this could actually be a sneaky high scoring game. I think just because there's going to be some garbage time passing by Jacksonville, I think the Colts certainly take the lead early. They have a hard time getting to Phillip Rivers. There's not a ton of defensive weapons for Jacksonville. So I do think the Colts cover that spread. But now when I start looking at the totals for that game, 46.5, this could be a 30-17, 31-21 type game for the Colts. So I think I like the over in the points, although I don't like to take a lot of overs in week 1. But I don't think
who are you talking about? The Miami game?
The Indianapolis-Jacksonville game. I was just moving on to the next game while you're looking up Devontae Parker. That way.
Yeah, we'll get that. Yep, we'll keep that right in order. Kyle, don't confuse these people out here now. Don't confuse
my
people
fault.
Out here early. Yeah, like it's early out there. You had a couple mimosas. We might be leaking into the Pittsburgh game on Monday Night Football.
I'm already ready. Yeah.
Let's keep moving here. But no, I just tried. It looks like Devontae Parker is in, and I'm looking directly at inactives, and it only shows 4 inactives for the Miami Dolphins. So some of these websites still need to work out their kinks as well in the official stuff that we're getting back. 455, 456, Cleveland and Baltimore, Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. How about this one? We're ready for this, right? How about the lines opening up 8.5s, 9s? You know what I'm seeing across the board, Kyle? 7.5s and 7s opened up at 48.5. Now we're seeing 47s across the board. I'm going to stick to the plan here. One of my pick 6 plays that I had was Cleveland +8 early in the week. If you're getting more than a touchdown, I still like them, even though they're banged up in the secondary. That's not really where Baltimore's going to beat you. Like if you're going up against an aerial assault on offense and you're down a couple cornerbacks, like, whoa. I'm going to sit this one out. But that's not where Baltimore theoretically wants to beat you. I'm going to ride in an in-division battle here with more than a touchdown. And don't Cleveland Brown me today, Cleveland. I'm on Cleveland. I want the +8 in this one. Over under 46, interdivision battle. Both these teams know each other. I probably lean under in that spot, but I like the Cleveland Browns getting points here, Kyle.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I'm actually switching more to the Baltimore side. Those injuries in the secondary sort of concern me. I could see some big plays early on. Marquise Brown. I think you're going to see more Andrews on the field. He only played 42% of the snaps last year. Now that Hayden Hurst is over in Atlanta, I really like the offense for Baltimore. And you got to remember, I think this line is moving a lot because last year in Baltimore, Cleveland embarrassed them. It was one of their 2 losses in the regular season. Baltimore's last game, we saw them get embarrassed by the Tennessee Titans. They have a lot to prove here, a ton of continuity. You have a new head coach who it's obviously an upgrade from Freddie Kitchens. I mean, my dog would be an upgrade from Freddie Kitchens in terms of NFL IQ and coaching a football team. So it is an improvement there, but not a lot of continuity. we'll have to see how that all works out. The injuries in the secondary concern me. I can see some big plays to Hollywood Brown over the top early in this game. They're going to run it down their throat. I actually like the movement of the line more towards Baltimore. Lots of books, -7, -7.5. I think that's about right. I like Baltimore by 10 in this game.
Do you? There we go, head to head. And if we agreed on everything out there, nobody would be happy about it.
It'd be boring.
Yeah. Yep. 178 people watching live, 27 thumbs up. We do thank you for that. We're going to keep it moving right down the list. We got an hour, actually 50 minutes until kickoff. That's the great thing about this show. We're in, we're out. We get you right to kickoff and see if we can pick off a couple winners in the time being. 457, 458. So a little rain in the forecast here for those Jets and Bills, Sam Darnold and Josh Allen. And look, hey, all for the past couple weeks, Kyle, what have you been hearing? And I've been guilty of this as well. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win this division. And you look at this matchup, the guys opting out for the Jets. Oh, Jets are a mess, Sam Darnold, this and that. And now you go into the Buffalo Bills to play them. They cross state. And now you're sitting on 6s, 6.5s, but a heavy ticket count going towards those Buffalo Bills. Over under opened up at 40, now sits at 39. And that's typically what you get for these Bills games, because if you have a really good performance out of your quarterback, meaning Josh Allen, the Bills got some components here. They can put up points, but a lot of times they rest on that defense. They're going to run the football and say, New York Jets, I don't think you have enough weapons to beat us. We are going to hunker down. And if I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win the division, there's no reason for me to believe, Kyle, that they can't win this game by a touchdown or more. It's a public heavy favorite on the Bills, but I agree with it here.
Yep, and I love that comment. I got a broken table right here for the Bills, and I like the Bills.
Yes. Yeah.
People always ask for the bankers at the end. That's where I'm at right now. I think Buffalo beats the brakes off the Jets. And I actually like the over. I think you could see a 30-10, 31-14 type score. Anytime the totals are in the 30s, I'll take the over. Just because the 30s, it's almost embarrassing. And a big shout out to our guy, Gary Seegers. They do a great job.
They do a good job. If you look good on camera, the boys are ready to go. They hold down out for us. Yeah. Damn.
And Chris is going to owe me a couple bets out in Vegas when we all meet out there, because he hates on your Eagles and the Steelers. So I made some bets.
Then we can't share beers.
There we go. He's going to have to pay for them. And 5 times, it's right. We did crush it on Thursday and made some money, but no, I like Buffalo. It's one of my favorite picks of the day, especially at -6.5, which is pretty much unanimous across the board. A couple sites have it -7, but I think Buffalo wins this game. I think they win it relatively easily. The Jets are just so depleted, and I don't trust Sam Darnold against one of the best secondaries in the league. It's just silly to do so. Looks like it's going to be a split backfield with Le'Veon Bell and Frank Gore, so that tells you where they're at on their big Le'Veon Bell signing. I like Buffalo. I like it quite easily. It is 62% of the bets are coming in on Buffalo, and I think that's the right way to go.
I can't disagree with it, because I do think the Buffalo, every component here should be better. Like Josh Allen's supposed to take the next step. I got better running. To me, even though Le'Veon Bell's a great name, I like the spread out. If that's even a word, of the Buffalo Bills, how they can get you in space at the running back position. They added on a deep threat at wide receiver. Now you're going to see this today, because we see it each and every time Josh Allen takes up, drops back to pass, 7-step drop, airs it out like a absolute howitzer rocket, and has his guy beat by 5 yards, and he overthrows him. If he can connect on more of those than not, the Buffalo Bills should be fine in this game. And I agree with you, and I agree with the public. They should win this game by a touchdown or more. Staying on the East Coast here, the Las Vegas Raiders are on the road versus the Carolina Panthers. 6 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on the Las Vegas Raiders in this one, going on the road. Opened up earlier in the summer here, Kyle, 1.5? Now we're saying 3s across the board in the Pick 6 contest. I went with the Carolina Panthers +3. Now, hey, I'm up against the creek, or rowing up the creek without a paddle, basically. New coach, haven't seen the team, new quarterback, a lot of moving parts, no Luke Kuechly. A lot of the leaders on this defense and team are now gone, but I trust Matt Rule in this spot, and I'm just looking at the overall Raiders. I would not be surprised if the Raiders are down 10.5 or down late in this ball game and say, man, the upstart Carolina Panthers. I think Carolina's going to give an honest effort today, but it's not so much to me, Kyle, about the honest effort of the Panthers. It's more of just a fade on the Raiders to me, you know?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I don't get it. I've heard a ton of love for the Raiders, and I'm sorry, I just don't get it. Some of their better offseason pickups, they got rid of. That secondary is led by Trayvon Mullen. Now, if you want to trust him against a wide receiving core of Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, Teddy Bridgewater is certainly an upgrade at quarterback from what they had most of last year in Kyle Allen. Carolina is in a lot of my parlays today, so I hope they don't crap all over my Sunday. But I just think you have 2 bad defenses. Neither defense is going to be very good. And then you look at the offenses, and do you trust Derek Carr? Derek Carr is he's one of my least favorite players in the entire league. So, maybe but I just think Teddy Bridgewater's a better player. Both have good running backs, but obviously Christian McCaffrey the advantage there. And then the wide receiving core is not even close. The offensive line is better for a little bit better for the Raiders, I suppose. But I like Carolina. I think Carolina wins this game. So I took some money line bets. I took the minus or the plus money bets. I think Carolina wins this game outright. I really do.
And I would like to disagree with you on this, but I'm a high on Matt Rule type guy. I think he's going to come in and do a good job. And opening day, a lot of stuff can happen. And look, I'm just not a big fan of the Raiders at this point. I'm just not.
And traveling east, I mean, come on. I don't understand it. I really don't. 58% of the money on the Raiders. Maybe I'll look stupid on tomorrow night in Tuesday's show, but for now, I feel good about Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, the reason for betting the Raiders would be what? Coach has already been there, quarterback's already been there. You know really more about what you're going to get. A lot of moving parts on Carolina. But again, you're right. You're coming from the West Coast to the East. The only team that doesn't matter, it seems like, and we'll get into that game in just a few moments here, is Seattle. When they come east and play at 1 o'clock, they seem to dominate, which is really out of control when you think about it. Let's keep going. But I like that game. I do. I'm excited for Carolina. Maybe it's not their year, so to say. Again, that is going to be a tough division to win, as is. I don't think they're going to win it, but I think they can be competitive down there. Next game, and hey, great segue, 461, 462, Seattle and Atlanta. Yeah. Seattle doesn't seem to have any issues coming east and playing at 1 o'clock, which obviously body clock would be 10 o'clock for guys out on the West Coast. 60% of the tickets coming in on Seattle in this game opens up. How about this? Opens up at a -1. I took it in the Pick Six contest early in the week, Atlanta +2. And I'm just looking at the opening or the line sitting right now. You got -1s and pick'ems, even some outlets in New Jersey, FanDuel, -1.5 on Atlanta. If you're looking at that one game where you say, this is the sharp look of the week, because what do we see? Oh my goodness, I got a close game. Atlanta's usually soft as hell. I got Russell Wilson. Where do I sign up? And it looks like that line is completely moving backwards. And I feel good about getting my +2 here. A lot of people taking that Atlanta money line plus straight up on the Pick Six. I took the +2 in this one. What are you thinking? Same lines as me? Or are you saying, you know what? I'm out here on the West Coast. I'm a Russell guy, and that's it.
Well, I'm definitely not a Russell Wilson guy. I can't stand the Seahawks.
Being an NFC West guy, yes.
I cannot stand Russell Wilson. I think he's so fake. But anyways, that's just my personal opinion.
I like to see that. Yeah, we'll hate. I'm a hater, man.
I mean, he's a great player. And bottom line is every game Seattle plays is close.
Yes.
So whichever side, you're going to see a ton of lines this year with Seattle close like that, because Vegas knows that Russell Wilson plays in close games, and their defense, certainly got an improvement with Jamal Adams. If I was getting points, I would like Atlanta. Now that it's going the other way, this is basically a pick'em game. To be honest, I have no bets on this game. I think in my plus money parlay, where I took the plus money money lines earlier in the week, because Atlanta was getting plus money on the money line, so I took Atlanta there. But I think this game's a shootout. I think you could see a lot of points. You have two Super Bowl quarterbacks. You have great wide receiving cores. Middle of the line, secondary. The defenses are bad, so you're going to see a lot of points. I like the over. Picking a winner.
You keep saying the defenses are bad in this, and I don't think Seattle's defense is all that bad.
They're bad. They're bad. They got Jamal Adams, and that's great and all that. But I'm telling you, this is not the Legion of Boom Seattle defense. And again, they're on the road, and even when they're at home, they're not going to have all those fans causing 10 penalties a game. The only reason I'm iffy on this game is because of how Russell Wilson performs. And I just don't have any bets in this game. Yeah, no bets in this game. Hey, listen, I could come out here and give you a bunch of fake bets.
I want you to give fake bets. That's what I want.
When I'm saying there's a game that I'm passing on, I think that's good advice too, because I think it could go either way. And I'll take the value on the money line for Atlanta in my earlier bet. But other than that, like for me, I'm going to wait and see. This is going to be a fun game to watch.
It is. And by the way, if you're reading the chat box out there, Kyle, Mr. Satan will bust your balls repeatedly. So if you're going at him, certainly keep on bringing it back at him. And also, we're taking a look. Yes. Guys, man, who's actually code for I am Derek Carr's agent, says he's very good. And he doesn't think that there's going to be an actual upset. So even agents check into the show with their quarterbacks trying to be their hype men out here. So we have a lot of people going on the chat box. Ball busters, you're welcome. Comforters, you're welcome. Guys that want shout outs, you're welcome. We're all inclusive at sportsbookreview.com. It's what we do. And me being the senior citizen on the channels, I appreciate everybody coming in here and even yelling at us. So I like this game. I think Atlanta can pull off the upset. But it's Russell Wilson. It's in the fourth quarter. Would you be surprised? Atlanta 23-20. Russ has the ball, a minute to go.
Right.
And like, that just, it's over. Yeah,
that's my problem. That is my problem with this game. I don't need the gray hairs. I'm not the senior citizen, but I'm getting older myself, and I do lots of things to cover the receding hairline. So I just don't need it today. I have enough pressure. Don't need the damn Seahawks ruining my day. I hate the Seahawks.
Yeah, by the way, you take a look at this. It says, let's see, talk Seattle's defense. We talk some Seattle defense. I actually like them. Kyle doesn't like them in this game. So it is, it is what it is. And Brett Hall, very good. This should be a tattoo on multiple handicappers. You win every game you pass. Yes. Like, money never leaves your wallet. Like, if you sit back here and you say, you know what, I'm not going to take a single wager today, you're a winner. Even in leaving, as I like to say, if I'm going to the casino. So is what it is. Welcome in, everybody. In there. Elliot V's in the chat box as well. Seattle and Atlanta. Come on. Give me my pick six winner. Give me the plus. I feel like a genius. Now, see, some people will tell you out there and say, you already won the game, Kyle. Like, if I got +2 and it closes at -1 Atlanta, it doesn't matter if you lose money because you beat the line, which is the most ludicrous statement in the world. I would rather lose the line by 47 points and still win my bet any day of the week. So if anybody comes in the chat box and says you beat the closing line, you did your job, false statement out there. What do you call it? Fake news? Fake news. Keep going. Damn right. Fake news. 463, 464. The game we didn't have enough time to talk about on the show on Thursday is now the game we're going to spend some time on. My Philadelphia Eagles going south to play the Washington football team. And if you follow me on Twitter, the pictures came out this morning, Kyle, the end zone in Washington, which is burgundy red. It looks beautiful. But it says Washington football team in the end zone. And I'm saying to myself, are you kidding me with this? So my response was, it looks like an Xbox game that we would have back in the day that didn't pay for NFL licensing. Just like, hey, the Washington football team is going to play. They are an embarrassment as a franchise. I just wanted to let that simmer out there before we actually break it down. What an embarrassment to have your end zone say Washington football team. Pick a name. Pick a name. It's not hard, Kyle. It's not hard.
Right. I mean, I change my name all the time, but no, and you're right. And this is, I guess I could give two bankers for the day because now the money is moving more towards Washington. You're seeing books at -5 and -5.5. On Father's Day, if you follow me on Twitter on Father's Day, I said my favorite pick for week 1 on Father's Day, not knowing what the hell was going to happen, was Eagles -6. I think Washington is terrible. Now, you could see him a little more inspired. I understand the stuff happening with Ron Rivera, and I do have a ton of respect for Ron Rivera. I think he's a great coach. He was one of my favorite linemen to pick on Tecmo Bowl back when I was a kid. He was on that Bears defense when you were trying to stop Bo Jackson, and then you played Walter Payton. No, the Washington Snyders are an embarrassment. Their ownership is terrible, and it's a shame for a guy like Ron Rivera to have to deal with this, but what weapons do you see on offense besides Terry McLaurin, who's going to be shadowed by Darius Slay? Nothing. Stevie Sims, Antonio Gibson,
quarterback stinks too. Quarterback stinks.
They listed their number one running back as J.D. bleeping McKissick, for Christ's sake. I mean, are you kidding me? I will take the Eagles all day on this. They're part of every one of my parlays at -6. Now, if you're making your bets now, you can get them at -5, -5.5. So a missed extra point maybe or something doesn't ruin your bet as we talk about different values for numbers. I like the Eagles. I like the Eagles all day. And I have some great fans over at my show at DFS Bachelor who love Washington. And I do my best not to bag on them. But no, they're getting crushed.
How could you love Washington has zero fan base, one of the worst run organizations, a trash can place where they play. So I can't even imagine Washington has any fans whatsoever. But if you say they're out there, Kyle, I will believe you. But the problem
we should mention Miles Sanders. We should mention
he's the least of the Eagles' problems. I don't even care that he's out. The 3 of the 5 offensive linemen that were supposed to start opening day are out, which is going to be a major problem. Lane Johnson, maybe the best right tackle in football, out. You're talking about a right guard that goes down in the offseason and goes to IR. He's out. You're talking about Jason Kelce, the best center in football. He will play. But then Jason Peters at the left tackle position. I'm talking about Brandon Brooks, by the way, for the right guard, for the people that didn't know that out there. Left tackle, Jason Peters. He's probably good for one series before he sits out. You take a look at Derek Barnett's going to miss this game. Obviously, Alshon Jeffrey's out. So many missing parts. If the Eagles were full go in this game, they obliterate Washington. They just embarrass them. But I do think that front 7 should be able to get some pressure on Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz by far the better quarterback in this game, and that's what you're going to lean on. I have in my pick 6 contest the Philadelphia Eagles over 42 midweek because I figured we would be, maybe Lane Johnson would play. Miles Sanders playing or not, even though he's a really good a really good running back. Boston Scott should be fine. It's one to make up the difference. Healthy Deshaun Jackson, you may be able to get some deep balls, but that offensive line that gives you an extra step of time, an extra second, that's not going to be there. And that worries me about this game. I do still think we get some points, even though I think Haskins stinks at quarterback. So.
Yeah, he stinks, and I think you have a great option for a pick six if you see that sort of prop bet. Dwayne Haskins is not ready for the NFL. He wasn't last year. I don't see anything that's going to make him ready this year. It's not like they added more weapons. Kelvin Harmon, their second-round pick last year, is going to be gone for the year. So it's just terrible around Dwayne Haskins. Besides Terry McLaurin, he's going to have a tough matchup no matter where he's matched up on the field. The Eagles really improved their secondary. They're going to be all over him, and I see the sharp money moving towards Washington. I don't think that's sharp. I think that's desperate. No, thank you. I'll take the Eagles all day.
Yeah, if we look, the Eagles are coming in as the favorite all off season. You look at this game, say the Eagles are going to win this game by at least double digits, but then you see all the injuries factor in, and you win the game in the trenches. That's just where it is. If you have you had the best right side in football if you matched up from the center out to Lane Johnson, and it's not going to be the case today. So when you can just get a 3rd and 1 and say, dude, just hand it off to the right side. These guys are going to absolutely truckload this defensive line. Now you're going to see some fumble. And the one problem with Carson Wentz of how good a quarterback he is, he does fumble when he gets sacked. So we'll keep an eye on that as the game moves forward as well. But I picked the over, so I can't come on and be like, well, I don't like it now because it's 41.5. I got it over 42. I would have liked more health, but it's not there. It is what it is. 465, 466, Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions. And the Lions, look, I like Matthew Stafford coming back. I think the team's going to be improved. Last year, I thought they would take the next step. They certainly didn't do that. But now Matt Patricia on the hot seat. I think they're going to be a better football team overall, but that is a tough division to play in. The one problem I have with Chicago is, again, you made the mistake, and I can't fault it because when you're in a league, Kyle, for the survival of yourself, if you're the GM Ryan Pace and you say, I'm not starting Mitchell Trubisky, you might as well be fired that day. So he's in self-preservation mode. Goes out, and when everybody's wheeling and dealing at quarterback and making great moves, they're giving up draft picks and paying Nick Foles a ton of money. So that should have signaled that Nick Foles is my starter. Mitchell Trubisky will be my backup. I'm doing what's best for the organization as a GM. But no, they can't seem to do that. They're going to go down in flames with Mitchell Trubisky, who's not going to be able to win you football games. If we take a look at the line, opened up at what? Small favorite for Detroit, was around that 2.5, 3 level, still staying in that level, 2.5 as a favorite for Detroit. So theoretically, no real home field advantage as is. Over-under is dropping. I do agree with that because I like the Bears defense. I actually like the Detroit defense, but Mitchell Trubisky can't have a catch. When Mitchell Trubisky, if he gets married, I don't even know if he's married, has a son, when his son's like 12 years old, his son is going to hate to play catch. Dad, come on. Can't you just throw it right here? Zip over his head, zip to the left, firing balls off his knee. Dad, I'm right here, five feet away. Just throw the ball soft and hit me. He can't do it. I can't bet Trubisky. He's terrible. I can't do it. Can't do it.
I'm on the other side of this. I like Chicago. I like Chicago to win this game outright. If you look at Mitch Trubisky's last 4 starts against Detroit, he's won all 4. Averaged over 289 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kenny Golladay is doubtful, most likely not going to play. Oh, actually, he's already been ruled out, I believe, this morning. Out, yeah. So Kenny Golladay is out. So they have Quintez Cephas.
Okuda's out too, by the way. On defense.
And Jeff Okuda is out, right. So I like Mitch Trubisky, the Trubisky-Allen Robinson connection. The Detroit Lions secondary was the worst in the league last year. Then they lost their best player to your Philadelphia Eagles. Darius Slay, they brought in Desmond Trufant, and now Jeff Okuda's out. I can't trust Detroit. I don't know where Matthew Stafford is supposed to go with the ball. We're going to upgrade Marvin Jones and TJ Hawkinson, I suppose, in the DFS realm. But I think you're going to see, I like the under, by the way, because I think the Lions are now going to have to rely on Kerryon Johnson, Adrian Peterson, the rookie DeAndre Swift will probably be involved in passing downs. I just don't know where the explosive plays are going to come from now unless Marvin Jones makes one of those circus catches that he likes to do. I think the Bears win this game. I think Trubisky outperforms what he's supposed to do. This is one of the better matchups for him. I have way too much of him in DFS today. I will say that, but he's cheap. He has the upside. No fans booing him, by the way. No fans, I think, kind of helps a guy like Mitch Trubisky. I'm taking Chicago. I think they went outright, and I'll definitely take the +2.5.
There you look. Yeah, we'll be on the opposite side because I want to go down to a head-to-head matchup. And if that game is close, I want Matthew Stafford on my side. But again, you still have a really good Chicago defense. And you're right. You're taking away weapons against a really good defense where you need all the help you can get to move the football against the Bears. Khalil Mack is still there, obviously going to be creating some havoc up front. Sure. It's an interesting game, and that's going to be a great division. This is what's great about opening day because we haven't seen anything. We haven't seen anything in the preseason, and we're going off of, you know what? Here's what I think is going to happen, which is a lot of fun to do because when we start talking tomorrow when we go live on the NFL show, a nice little half hour before the game, we'll be like, dude, you were right on with Trubisky, 22 and 32, 321, 3 scores. Or else I'm going to be like, damn, you know what, Kyle? We can't have you on the show anymore backing up Mitchell.
Get the hell out of here. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's keep going here. Indianapolis and Jacksonville, which I believe Kyle already covered while I was surfing the web and not paying attention. That's the Colts versus the Jaguars here. Rivers and Minshew. This is everybody's suicide pool, right? Everybody's signing up on Indianapolis game. 7 out of every 10 tickets coming in. Opens up at 7, still stays at 7 right now with an over-under of 44, which actually dropped from what it was a few weeks ago at 46. But the defense got worse. You have a quarterback that's going to throw it around, and maybe we have a little bit of Ryan Fitzpatrick light in Gardner Minshew saying, hey, go out there with your jorts and just throw it all over the yard because you know what? We really stink and it doesn't matter. Try to compile some stats. If we're down late in the game, see if you can throw an extra touchdown passes. I actually agree with you. Even though the Colts really with Phillip Rivers aren't built to be a up-tempo, steamroller, go deep passing offense. But the fact that you have Trubisky, you got to get Trubisky on the mind. Minshew on the opposite side, I think good and bad happens with him. Scramble plays, interceptions, fumbles, touchdowns, whatever you may have. I think the game goes over. I do. I just the way I see it.
It could. So there's 2 ways of looking at it. If the Colts get ahead early, and the Colts are a terrific rushing team, they have a fantastic offensive line. They drafted Jonathan Taylor out of Ohio State, of course. Then they have Marlon Mack, who was a 1,000-yard rusher a year ago. They're built to run the football. And that's good for Phillip Rivers because he wants to work off the play action and they want to slow down any pass rush you're going to see whatsoever. But on the other side of things, Jacksonville has no running game that we can see unless you think Chris Thompson is all of a sudden, or Divine Ezigbo is going to come out and be.
Thompson might get 30 passes, but I don't know what he's running for today. So.
That's right. They're going to have to throw the ball a ton, which means there's a lot of opportunities for extra possessions, 3 and outs, clock stoppages with incomplete passes. So going the over does make sense. I can make a reasonable argument both ways, which is why I stayed off the total when betting this game. I do think the Colts cover the -7. There's a little bit of concern. You have yourself a 31-20 game or a 21-10 game late, and they get a garbage touchdown with a minute left because all they're doing is throwing the ball. So I stayed away from the total. I think the bet here is Indianapolis. That's where I would put my money. But there is a little bit of a hesitancy with that.
Yeah, they're a better overall team. There's no question about it. Now, if you're a DFS guy or where you're looking for an over, I mean, obviously going to be Minshew to Chark is where you're really going to try to eat because that Indianapolis secondary do have some good safeties, a little bit susceptible at cornerback. But again, first game, team that's really dome team, going outdoors on the road. Again, nobody cares about fans in Jacksonville because they don't have any anyway, and you probably have more Colts fans there if you really let them line up. But it's just an inexperienced team for Jacksonville. And also we take a look at, you saw last year, because if we can equate last year's season, which it's hard to put into this year because nobody really knows what the hell is going to go on in week 1 anyway. But if you look and say last year, the one team that raised the white flag before the season started, right up to a week, who was that? That was the Miami Dolphins. They got obliterated by a team that was looking to make a mark and make a playoff run and win the division in the Baltimore Ravens. So now we have in the 2020 season, we have that same type of situation. The Jacksonville Jaguars' only goal is to win 0 games to get Trevor Lawrence. The Indianapolis Colts have grandeurs of a Super Bowl, so maybe we get that, which is great for an over because I don't care if the team's down 28-0. It's not like Minshew's going to be like, hey, you know what, I don't want to play anymore. They're going to keep throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing. So that might be one of those advantages that you look at, but you're looking for one team that's established saying we can win a Super Bowl when the other one was like, don't you dare win this football game. We need a draft pick.
Yeah, exactly. And that, I think you worry about that. But again, Doug Marrone, if this team goes, and we kind of talked about this in our opening lines, if Doug Marrone goes 2-14, he's getting fired. So I think there's a lot of motivation for Doug Marrone to keep this game competitive. And again, I do think at the wide receiver core, Gardner Minshew has weapons. And he was, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year. He wasn't a total dumpster fire at quarterback, and he kind of got thrown in without knowing he was going to be the guy because of the Nick Foles injury, right? So it's going to be interesting to watch the team. And that's why when I see things like this, when I'm 50-50 on it, I pass. And I know we have a super fan out here.
You have to pick every game. You have to best.
Yeah, if you don't pick every game, you're an idiot. But I think there's a lot of value in passing on things that you don't know about. Know your limitations and know what you know and know what you don't. Yep. If you don't like it, there's plenty of other places that'll lie to you, I'm sure. So you could go enjoy all that. But right now, I like the Colts covering the spread. The total, I'm a little iffy on. Just I want to see how efficient that Jacksonville passing game is and how good that Colts running game is with the 2 running backs and what they're going to do with Phillip Rivers. I think there's a lot of unknowns there, but I do like the Colts to cover the spread.
I agree. 380 people watching live in the chat box. Do thank you. This is what we do, man. We are the best show on YouTube going live before the game, and probably one of the longest running ones. A lot of upstarts coming out here, but the original at sportsbook.com. My 4th season doing this in the fall. We're going to have fun. Even out here, Joey K says, I've been following you guys for years. Kyle is amazing, and Donnie does a great job at Sportsbook Review. Thank you, Joey K, for chiming in to the chat box. Let's keep going here. 469-470. He actually said, no, he's been here a long time. He actually DM'd me a lot saying that he really wishes that maybe he could come in the chat box a lot.
Interesting.
More.
Thanks, Joey K. Thanks, buddy.
That's my man. 469-470. Green Bay and Minnesota. How about that? Again, we talked about a really good division, a tough, hard-fought division. Love the fact these two are going to line up today, and that's going to be Rodgers and Kirk Cousins, the Packers and the Vikings. Look at a ticket split here, roughly 50-50, and the line movement opened up a couple months ago, whenever you're getting, depending, July, early August, 3.5. Minnesota looks like the favorite. But look, when you're matching it up again, which is the same reason I like to take a look at that Mitchell Trubisky versus Stafford game, you get the better quarterback, and people are starting to lean the opposite direction now. So Green Bay getting the money. They got that down to about 1.5. This game will be completely different. If that was a sold-out, banging crowd up in Minnesota, I think they would win this game and win it fairly easily. But there's going to be no crowd. You can make all the adjustments you want. And obviously, maybe the best quarterback outside of Tom Brady of our generation that we've seen is going to be on the field and healthy, and Aaron Rodgers with a healthy wide receiving core. It's going to be a fun game to watch. The line is not agreeing with you going under, because I actually like the over in this game. 44.5. Give me the over in this one here, Kyle.
Yep, I agree. And I actually like the Packers. And I think the Packers win this outright. I think Aaron Rodgers has a chip on his shoulder, an absolutely dreadful offseason for this front office. It's disrespectful. When you draft, they basically built a draft around the rookie quarterback that they drafted, who, I mean, you can find these talented upside, not ready to play guys in every draft. They go out and get Jordan Love in the first round when you have a generational talent still at quarterback, even in an off year, who put up massive numbers. I think Aaron Rodgers comes out and beats up a young Minnesota secondary. They replace both their starting corners in Trey Waynes and Xavier Rhodes. Devontae Adams has a big game. I like Aaron Jones quite a bit in this matchup as well. I think the Packers win, and I think they cover the over. I think both these defenses are vulnerable to the strengths of the other offense. The Vikings are going to be a great running team. Packers are susceptible to the run. The Vikings are susceptible to the pass. That's what the Packers do best. I like the over. I like the Packers. In fact, I believe I have the Packers in my pick 6 at -2.5 or +2.5.
Yeah, we'll see how that offensive line holds up. But when you look at it, you still have the semblance of a good, even though you lost Stephon Diggs, which is a great part of that offense, Adam Thielen, then you go out in the first round, you get Jefferson out of LSU. Obviously, Dalvin Cook, you get a screen game. This guy just needs a scintilla of separation, and he's out of the box. So that's going to be a good one to watch. But both of these teams, again, coming in, like my Philadelphia Eagles, both these teams really coming in primarily healthy, even though Danielle Hunter is going to miss this football game with an injury, but you replace him with what? Yannick Ngakoue. So, hey, there you go. If he ever comes back off of IR, you're going to have a pretty good 1-2 combo on the outside. 2 really athletic linebackers for this team, and also a great safety tandem on Minnesota. I just wish there was a lot of fans in the stands, because I really would like Minnesota here. I'll lean on taking the quarterback, but I still think there's going to be some points in this game. You got some heavy hitters in this game. Kirk Cousins, as well, we know, he can throw the deep ball. He can get hot, but also he can be a disaster, which is what we like to say, Kyle. It's great for a total. If you have a quarterback that can get hot and be a disaster, pick 6 one way, touchdown the other way, Jameis Winston, Hall of Fame on totals. Those are our type of guys here. That's the 1 o'clock games, and it's going to be a heavy card here. So if you guys got that DFS going on, it's going to be popping. Who's scoring first, who's not. Then you settle into the primetime games in the afternoon. Even though this isn't a primetime game, I'm going to talk right now. 471, 472, the Chargers on the road versus Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. 50-50 ticket split here. Line opened up around 3. You're even seeing 3s with light juice. Even Offshore Chris, one of the sharper books out there at SBRodds.com, they're showing a -2.5. And I know the Chargers are coming in a little banged up here. I know it's opening day. Yeah, we saw when the Houston Texans franchise just opened, knocking off the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football like 20 years ago. It's a little bit different. Still an established football team. You got weapons at wide receiver. I'm interested to see because, again, Kyle, we didn't see Joe Burrow, though. We saw him in LSU dominate. We didn't get to see him in the preseason going, yo, week 2, he looked bad in the preseason. Week 3, man, he looks like he has to really catch up. You're just going off of, I think he's going to be ready. And I'm not one to say, you know what? I'm laying the wood on a rookie quarterback in his first start in the NFL against a pretty good defense and a pass rush that's going to be coming off. Opening day, I'm going to lead towards Tyrod Taylor. Been there, done that, move the chains. I'm going to win this game and get the cover here, and specifically win by 3 or more. I'm going to go Chargers. Even though that's a square type play, I'm not putting my money on a rookie quarterback week 1 in the NFL. Just not going to do it.
No, and Chargers -3 is one of my pick sixes. So they're picked for me, for those of you who are wondering. I am a little concerned. I don't like that Mike Pouncey is out at center for the Chargers. Trey Turner and Brian Bulaga are both questionable. So that's a concern when 3 of your 5 linemen are banged up. That is certainly a concern. I still like the Chargers. Mike Williams, it looks like he's going to go ahead and play despite that shoulder injury. So that certainly helps the offense. And the good thing is, even if some of those linemen are hurt for the Chargers, Tyrod Taylor's a mobile quarterback. He can make things happen out of the pocket. I think you see a lot of swing passes to Eckler. On the flip side of things, you got that Bengals offense, which it's a rookie quarterback, seems poised, seems like a really nice prospect. And he's getting A.J. Green back. They have Tyler Boyd. They drafted T. Higgins. There's John Ross, Joe Mixon. There's a plethora of weapons out there. They just haven't gotten to work together yet. We got to see how that rookie quarterback does. And the Chargers have a terrific defense. That secondary is there to play, despite the loss of Derwin James. And then you have one of the best 1-2 pass rush tandems there on Bosa and Ingram. I like the Chargers -3. It won't shock me if the Chargers ruin a lot of my parlays, honestly. I love them, but they have a tendency of losing games they're not supposed to lose, especially when they're headed to the East Coast. But I'm feeling good about Anthony Lynn's boys. I like that defense, and I like that Mike Williams is playing. Give me the Chargers -3, part of my pick 6.
Yeah, and when you're looking at this game overall, I mean, we've seen Bosa and Ingram will get after you. You're looking at an offensive line that's, young and bad at the same time for Cincinnati, and going with a quarterback that is brand new. He's going to get the kitchen sink thrown at him from a look level because, again, he's only lined up against his own teammates in practice. He hasn't got that feel of being in an NFL game. And also, Kyle, just going over the numbers with him, right? So you say, all right, here's what's going to take place in the Chargers game. He's still got to go out. He's got to listen to the plays. He's got to call it. He's got to get under center. He's got to make the adjustment. He hasn't done that yet in an NFL game. And that's a cheap number. I'm not to say that, the Bengals should be getting 10 points in this game. That is a really cheap number. I will tip my cap. If Joe Burrow comes out with the worst team in football last year and picks up a victory against the Chargers, I will be shocked at that. And that's the reason why I'm going to lean and say, you know what? Chargers going to win this game outright. That's just where I'm going. Rookie quarterback doesn't make me money. And if he does, congratulations. I'll move on to the next game, which is 473, 474. It's going to be red. It's going to be smoke. Do we have to have actual gas masks on to play this football game? I'm going to talk about here Arizona and San Francisco. Murray and Garoppolo going to line it up. How about this, Kyle? 6 out of every 10 tickets or so coming in on the road team. Those Arizona Cardinals line opened up a little bit higher than a touchdown. You can actually get that primary number now below a touchdown at 6.5 across the board. Opened up at 47. Now we're sitting at 48 and even higher in this game. This is a prime look where a lot of people are waiting to pounce on the Arizona Cardinals in this game as that jump start to their season. Let's keep in mind, this is still a Super Bowl caliber team, but really banged up at wide receiver. Does that give an edge to Arizona, or do you think San Francisco can win the game and not cover? To me, if I could get the 7, I would take the 7, to be honest with you, even though I love the 49ers. That defense is still going to be cooking, but you're down a couple components on offense. But having said that, everybody knows Kyle Shanahan is the best play caller in the NFL. If you have guys that are just not in wheelchairs, he will get you space and get you open to score. That's the dilemma that you have in this game. But again, no fans. Maybe Arizona can throw some wrinkles out here with no preseason. Kingsbury and the boys. I'm going to take that 7 if I can get it.
Right. And some of the money now, you're seeing a lot of books at 6.5.
Yeah.
So I think that 7 is really important. And a lot of people might be like, oh, a half point. What the hell does that mean? It means a lot. And especially in a game here where you might have some lower visibility for kickers. I'm looking at the air quality right now. It's at 161. If it gets to 200, the NFL postpones the game. It looks like they're not going to do that. Looks like this game
does that mean, though, Kyle, that Roger Goodell is going to get out the special reading machine that doesn't go over 200?
Of course. I mean, come on. It's Roger. Like this is never going to read over 200. Look, I'm like 5 hours away from there, and our air quality is 377. No. So it's bad here. But it looks like the game's going to be played. One thing, I guess, that you could say would hurt the 49ers here is that with the air quality being the way it is, we probably won't see any Tevin Coleman. He's got a sickle cell trait. It's very similar to when players play in Denver. They're leaving it up to him. Last I read just about 10 minutes ago while we were talking here. So you'll probably see more Jerick McKinnon, which could mean things in terms of DFS and fantasy world better for guys like Raheem Mostert and Jerick McKinnon. Deebo Samuel's not going to play. Brandon Ayuk is still very questionable. However, in these sorts of conditions with a lot of uncertainty, I'll take that proven commodity in my 49ers at -6.5. Now at -7, I might lean.
Isn't it? It's big.
It really is. And I know it sounds weird, and some people might be like, what the hell are you talking about? But it's true. And you're even, I don't think I'm seeing any more 7.5s. But the 49ers, especially in home openers in important games, tend to really perform. Even when they're winning 2 games. Back in the day, they were beating Teddy Bridgewater's Minnesota Vikings 28-3 on Monday Night Football. That team ended up making the playoffs. I do like the 49ers to cover that 6.5 to 7. I'm a little more iffy on. So if you can get it at 6.5, I'll take the 49ers.
Yeah, no, it's a tough game. These, again, sight unseen, and I'm just going on like my feels because, again, I thought San Francisco was the best team in football last year. Rode them in the playoffs, ended up with a loss in the Super Bowl, but not a lot has changed, and you're still talking about a team that's built to win the Super Bowl this year, albeit a little bit banged up at some key positions. But as I said, that coach will get anybody into the right spot and can make them a superstar. And that's what you're going to lean on if you're trying to bank on the San Francisco 49ers. Even though with the banged up guys, I still think it could get over because, again, you're talking about a really good defense from San Francisco, a really good front 7. That sort of wears down when you're going to have a quarterback that you're always running and chasing like a rabbit throughout the entire game. In the second half, it'll slow down a little bit. But again, you're talking about more plays in this game because Arizona typically will go fast, and we know San Francisco can score. As long as Arizona can engage San Francisco, they will engage back. If San Francisco comes in this game, Kyle says, look, man, you guys ain't got nothing for us. I don't care about your new additions. They'll slow it down and just run the football. But if they need to open it up, they can certainly do it. Fun game to look forward to at 425. And the one that everybody's looking forward to today, 475, 476, Tampa Bay and New Orleans down in the Dome. Mike Evans, I haven't obviously – inactive is going to come a little bit later, but he's banged up and has one of the worst injuries you can have. I played sports my whole life, even at wide receiver. The injury that athletes never understand themselves is when you hear them say, my hamstring is okay. It was just a cramp. That is devastating. And if you need at a position, not an offensive lineman, not a guard, not a tackle, not a center, where you take 3 or 4 steps like, oh, my hammy feels it. Try opening it up when you have to run a 4.5 40. You will sit out the rest of the game. Mike Evans banged up in this one. Even if he plays, don't know how effective will be. I don't know if that tilts the power in this game because when you take a look at the actual line, it's still sitting at 3.5. It hasn't moved that much, even though Mike Evans is either going to be on one leg, not play, or probably not be all that effective. That's how much credit Tom Brady's going to get as an underdog in the regular season, which damn near never happens. Let's see what kind of arm strength that we have with Drew Brees. This is a tough game to call, but again, New Orleans at home. Everybody loves Tampa Bay. I'm going to stick with New Orleans this one. I think they can win this game by a touchdown. Mike Evans being down certainly doesn't help the cause. The over-under coming down from 49.5 to 47. I still think it has a chance to go over, but I would just take New Orleans in the spot. New Orleans down in the Dome, even though there's no fans, I'm going to go with them. I think they're ready to rock and roll. Good defense, obviously great offensive coordinator, great offensive coaches. Drew Brees, arm healthy for week 1, maybe not week 5, but I think he's ready to go. I'll take New Orleans in this one.
Yep, I'm taking New Orleans. They're part of my pick 6, as a matter of fact, and they're part of most of my parlays. And the reason you're probably not seeing that line move too much is Mike Evans was going to be matched up with Marshawn Lattimore anyways. And Marshawn Lattimore is one of the better shadow cover corners in the league. So it's going to be about the slot. So if you're playing fantasy football, DFS, guys like Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, Justin Watson now falls into your radar. Rob Gronkowski gets a boost. Ronald Jones in the passing game gets a little boost. So it's a boost to all those players because Mike Evans is such a big part of that offense. But again, Marshawn Lattimore was very effective against Mike Evans last year. Someone asked, how does Donnie stay around so long? It's because he does a great job of leading the show. I'm telling you, he makes my job easy. So we all beg for him to stay. That's why. Right. And I'm a little younger, so he gets to be the old guy. So
yeah,
there you go.
I'm old as hell.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm 18, but I'm really old.
Yeah. Well, the lighting's better, so you look younger, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But I like New Orleans a lot in this game. They're at home, and I understand there won't be fans there. They're still going to pump the crowd noise in. It's a familiar scene for Drew Brees and that team, same coaches, same everything else. I think I like the over in this game. I think a 28-20, 31-21 type game makes a lot of sense here. I just don't know if Tampa Bay's secondary can do anything to that passing game of the New Orleans Saints. And I'm not sure how effective Tom Brady's going to be without Mike Evans. He's going to have to do these short, quick. If you're picking Scotty Miller and Justin Watson to beat you, then okay, I guess. Have fun with that. I'll go against well, now most of the money's starting to come in on the Saints. Thank God people have wisened up, but I'll take it -3.5. I think I got it -3 on my pick 6.
It's a good one. That's good. That's going to be a nice little America's game here. Wouldn't it be nice for maybe New England to take a loss early in the day, and then if Tampa Bay won later, just that avalanche that you have in the Northeast. Say, oh my God, give me a Samuel Adams. I just can't make it to my car.
The winter lager is delicious. I do like the winter lagers.
Yeah, they do make a good beer up there. So hey, we'll see what takes place in that game. But I'm excited to see that overall game, just to see how it plays out. And there's a lot of games here that are nice where even if you're not betting on the game, you could be a fan of these games, which I'm going to be yelling and screaming and probably breaking things during the Eagles game with my injured Eagles out here. But outside of that, there's a lot of games. I know a lot of people DFS stuff. You got your Millionaire Maker. You're just taking straight up wagers, the Pick Six contest. It's all going down. And guys, if you're just tuning in late, if you missed the show where you say, you know what, I want to watch the playback, SBRpicks.com/NFL for all your informational needs. And also, we're going to get to the Sunday night game in just a moment. We have a few minutes here. Kyle will be back. Me and Kyle will be back on live again tomorrow on the Monday Night Show. We're going to do it each and every week live. Come on about a half hour before the game. Talk about what took place on Sunday. Have some fun setting up the Monday Night Football game and watching it all the way through. Come in and say hello and have fun. Then we get back on it onto our Tuesday and Thursday shows where we really set the table for the weekend ahead. And then, of course, the crowning achievement, as I like to say, the Sunday closing line show, which we are 10 minutes away from NFL football action. Let's hit the last game of the day here. 477-478 Dallas and the Los Angeles Rams. Again, wildfire is probably not going to be an issue because this is a domed stadium. Should play the same way San Francisco should play in this one. If we look at the over-under in this game, a 52 and a 51 up from 50, but also some line movement here. We saw it as high as 3. I got the pick 6 contest, the Rams +3 on SBRodds.com, but now that sinks back to 2. I think this is going to be a really good football game. And this coming from me, I'm really high on the Dallas Cowboys this year. I do think they win the NFC East just from default now with so many injuries on the Eagles. I think they're more talented. We'll see if the new coach makes a difference. But in this game, it's going to be a tough one. And I got the 3, which is a great number. So if you're looking at the 2s, it's a little bit different because, again, you lose by 3, you still get the push as opposed to not.
Right.
You do get some points in this football game. But, again, I haven't seen the – are we just going to click, Kyle? Like, does Dallas just click over and say from last year, boy, we ran like a train on offense, busted everybody up. Now we didn't play in the preseason. Now we're back out here. How healthy is our wide receiving core? There's a lot of ifs in this. I'll lean on the dog in this game for the Rams, but I need to see that Dallas. I have a feeling Dallas is going to be good on offense, but I just haven't seen it yet for this year.
Yeah, if ifs were fifths, we'd all be drunk. And I can tell some of you out in the chat box have not watched the whole show because you're asking for bankers. We've given out a lot of those over the show.
Yeah, but keep in mind also, it gets easier as the season goes on because me, I really don't bet for a few weeks in. I like a lot of these spots. We'll go over our pick 6s in just a few moments and then give out a bet on the pick 6s. But your guess right now, and yes, I am saying guess, is probably as good as ours because we haven't seen anything either. Go ahead, Kyle.
Right. So real quick, okay, I'll say Buffalo over the Jets. But so this game moving to -2, I think I'm starting to lean the Rams, and here's why. I think if Dallas wins this game, it has to be an Ezekiel Elliott game. The reason being that Rams secondary is still going to be very good, Jalen Ramsey, etc. Amari Cooper, even though he is the type of guy who can create separation for the first several years of his career, he was one of the top yards of separation per route ran. Not against Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey shut him down last year in week 15. I know he was battling a little bit of an injury, but Amari Cooper is always battling an injury. But the linebacking core of the Rams is the weak point. They lost Corey Littleton. They did nothing to replace him. They have obviously studs up front on the defensive line. So it's can they stop Zeke Elliott when he gets past that first line of defenders. If Dallas wins, they're going to need a big game out of Zeke Elliott. I think that secondary actually gives the Rams wide receivers trouble. And if you're looking for a sneaky DFS play, especially later on in the night, the better matchup is Darius Randall there in the slot, replacing Nickel Roby-Coleman. CeeDee Lamb could be very, very interesting. A lot of questions at the tight end spot. I think the Rams could cover this at home. You mentioned the air quality. It actually does come into play because they don't have the doors to seal off this stadium. Now, it looks like the air quality is at 141, 145, which is totally fine for the NFL to play. I mean, it's not good for anybody, and ideally none of us would have to breathe that in. But the barometer for the NFL to postpone or reschedule a game is 200. Looks like they're going to be fine down there in LA. So this game should go on. But the Rams passing game against that Dallas secondary that lost Byron Jones, I think that's the biggest question mark in this game. The Rams linebackers and the Cowboys secondary, I think the Rams passing game could surprise some people at home. So part of my plus money line parlay, I have the Rams. I don't think you're crazy for taking the Cowboys, but I'm going to take the value and the plus numbers on the Rams.
Yeah, great matchup, Zach Martin versus Aaron Donald in this football game. So a lot of really good stuff here. Now, if we put a nice little bow on this first NFL game, these first NFL games, and obviously with Week 1, we'll be back tomorrow on Monday Night Football. There's a lot of question marks that I do want to see answered. You know, is Carson Wentz just going to be under siege today versus the Washington Redskins with so many injuries? You know, Mitchell Trubisky, how does he play this week? You know, we're taking a look at Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Do they take that next step against the San Francisco 49ers? But going over my pick 6 contest plays, I have Cleveland +8, I have Carolina +3, Atlanta +2, the Philadelphia Eagles, Washington Redskins or Washington football team over 42, Green Bay over 45, and the Rams +3. So I'm taking a lot of dogs this week. Since we haven't seen that much, I'll lean on the points. What's your pick 6 coming into this weekend look like here, Kyle?
Well, my first pick 6 was Chiefs -9, so we hit that. So we'll take that. Hey. Then I have the Eagles -6, the Chargers -3, the Steelers -6 on Monday night, the Titans -2.5 on Monday night, and the Saints -3.5 are my pick 6 as I went all teams this week.
And if I go with a banker or best bet of what I think, and I've been saying the same thing all off season, I'm going to take more than a touchdown here with Cleveland. I got it at +8 in the pick 6. As long as you're getting +7.5, which is out of a multitude of places, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns today. As much as I want to, poke my eyes with a pencil, but that's the way I'm going to lean today on opening day. If you had to give a play, so you know what, it's the play I'm going with today. Kyle, which one is going to be for you today?
It's going to be the Bills -6.5. I think they beat the brakes off the Jets. I really like that play. It feels the safest to me. If I had to do an alternate, it would be, especially right now, if you're getting in late, those Eagles -5.5. That's just ridiculous to me. I don't care who's injured. I think Washington is terrible. They're a dumpster fire this year. I feel bad for Ron Rivera in that regard, but I think that is the case. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us on the chat, made the show go by. Even the guys giving us crap, I love that. The more crap, the better. And, a big thanks to Donnie for not just running the show, but he's twitching the sticks and everything else. So it's going to be a good week. And again, if you lose money, we're deleting the tape, so there'll be no proof. So that's fine.
Exactly. No, good. It's going to be a good week. It's going to be a great football season right here at sportsbookview.com. Again, as Kyle said, we do thank you for coming to the chat box. The show doesn't go on unless we have participation in the chat box, and we certainly get that. There's a lot of good things going on at sportsbookview.com. Obviously, the soccer shows, the NBA shows, the baseball shows, and as well as the NFL shows, and also college football shows. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications. Every time we go live at sportsbookview.com, you'll get it delivered. And how about this, Kyle? At the beginning of the week, we had just over 67,000 people subscribed. It's now up to 67,600. That is a testament to you guys not only like the program, but are interested in following along with what we do at sportsbookview.com. It's going to be a great Sunday. We want to thank you for spending your morning with us. Kyle and I will be back tomorrow for the Monday Night Football game. So get ready for that. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Kyle Purviance. We are sportsbookview.com. And this was your NFL closing line show for week 1 in the NFL. Good luck.